Welcome everybody, benvenuti a tutti a questo terzo appuntamento di MACH Academy, questo progetto di MACH Academy dedicato al viaggio dell'eroe. E come ci siamo detti già negli appuntamenti precedenti, questo progetto è in lingua inglese perché l'inglese è la lingua ufficiale di MACH, dell'orchestra MACH del festival, in quanto l'orchestra è un'orchestra composta da musicisti provenienti da tutto il mondo. Quindi promettiamo agli ascoltatori italiani che l'inglese sarà molto semplice e parleremo molto lentamente in modo che tutti possano capire e gustare quello di cui parleremo. So, welcome to everybody, musicians of the MACH Academy and who is following us on YouTube. This is the third meeting, talk of our journey. As you know, and as you got to know already, the journey of the hero is something very important to all of us, musicians and not musicians, not only musicians. For every of these talk, of these meetings, we want to go a bit deeper in different themes that we think are characterizing the journey of, in this case, we are artists, we are musicians, so of a musician. And the meeting of today will be focused more on the aspect of tenacity, of the strength and tenacity in the music journey all we are doing. And our guest of today, as you know, it's our chief conductor, Diego Matheuz. And as you know, Diego comes from a very, very important project for the music world, from the project of El Sistema in Venezuela, from a small town in Venezuela, Barquisimeto. Then he moved to Caracas to become concertmeister of the Simón Bolívar Orchestra, to train himself in the music, and then to become a conductor. After this experience, he came to Europe for many, many important collaborations with important orchestras. He has been principal guest conductor in Orchestra Mozart in Bologna. He became the principal conductor in La Fenice Theatre in Venice. And he was appointed also principal guest conductor of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. So apart from these top collaborations, he had many, many others collaborations with very important orchestras in Europe and in US. And together we found this project of the MACH Orchestra 2 years ago. And so I'm very happy to give the microphone to Diego, and I'm very happy we are here together. Thank you, Diego.
Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'm really, really happy to be here with all of you. Unfortunately, my participation here will be very short because I have a rehearsal very soon, and then I have a concert tonight, but I'm really, really, really happy to be with all of you here.
Thank you, Diego, for your time, always. And today with us will be also Andrea Milanesi, which is a very dear friend of the festival, and is the artistic director of Matheuz magazine, a very important Italian music magazine, which is also media partner of the festival in the communication. And Andrea will lead the journey of Diego. And so I give the microphone to Andrea. I welcome you. I'm very, very pleased and happy you are with us. It's an honor, and we are ready to start this journey together.
Thank you, Francesco. It's my pleasure, my honor. And hello, hi, everybody. Hi, Diego. Thank you. Ciao.
Andrea.
Ciao. Well, we are talking about heroism and tenacity. Well, you come from a country where sometimes everyday life is heroic. How this experience has affected your musical call or your musical vocation? And how can music change reality, everyday life in such an heroic way?
Yeah, I have to say I've been very, very lucky because I start in El Sistema very, very young. So I spent my whole life there, and from the beginning I spent maybe 7 hours a day in the music school. So that gives you the opportunity to growing up together with all these how to say, the musicians as well, and that now are they are all my best friends, that we know each other for so long. We live together, so of course that change you the way to see the life, even if you are a children, because outside of the music school you can see all the children taking food from the trash, and children asking for money without any possibility. So you can see the contrast very well. Of it's a everyday thing in Venezuela.
Yes, yes, I know. But well, but when before your encounter with El Sistema, how was your ordinary world, the world from which start your hero's journey?
Yeah, we have two very famous things in Venezuela: baseball, that is the national sport, and El Sistema. So before El Sistema, I was in a baseball team. So I spent the morning in the school and then the afternoon in the baseball. Then I started, before to be in El Sistema, I started to play mandolin and cuatro. Cuatro is a typical instrument. It's like a guitar only with 4 strings.
Okay.
So I started to play these 2 instruments when I was 5, something like that.
And when did you realize that music would be your life, your career? When did the call arrive?
I knew from the beginning.
Okay.
Really, really from the beginning, because I fall completely in love with music. And with El Sistema, we have so many opportunities, and you can try. In my case, for example, I start with the violoncello, but my father had a very little car, and I have 2 sisters, and we didn't have enough space for the violoncello. And my father said, "Can you play the violin? It's the same, but smaller." So that's why then I changed to the violin. But also I try to play the flute, and so you have the possibility to take many things and then choose one.
And the choice was to change the car or to change the instrument. So
the instrument.
So you choose the instrument to change the instrument.
Okay. Yeah. Then I of course I play the violin.
Well, we're talking about El Sistema, Maestro Abreu. What kind of heroes? Well, the main theme of this edition is proper the hero's journey. Well, what kind of heroes created El Sistema? And then what kind of heroes were Claudio Abbado and Maestro Abreu?
Yeah, I say always I had these two angels with me, my heroes, and my, like, I think my musical fathers. Of course, in the beginning with Maestro Abreu, he was always giving you the opportunity to growing up, and he support us so much all the time. Then I met Maestro Claudio Abbado. I remember this was 1997. I was, I think, 13 years old. He was in Venezuela with the Matheuz Orchestra. I saw him for the first time there. Then we met again, like in 2010, something like that.
No.
And he was going to Venezuela every winter. January and February, he spent 2 months in Venezuela. So we worked a lot there. And at some point, he knew that I was studying conducting, and one day he started the last movement of Beethoven 7. I think Francesca remember. And then he came to me and he gave me the baton and he said, go and conduct. And after that, he asked me, he called me in his dressing room, and I say, oh my God, he will kill me. And he asked me if I want to work with him as assistant conductor. So these two months give me the possibility to be a musician, and I learn a lot. And I still, if they are not with us now in this world, I still learning from them all the time.
Yeah. I think that Claudio Abbado has always pushed everyone, I mean, everyone of his collaborators to cross any limit every time, every day. And so it's, but now you're an international conductor. And so in many cases, your work, your job leads you to travel every 3 days, meet new orchestras and new musicians that you don't know before. And you had to share and communicate an element as intimate and deep as music. And then you leave again and start for a new travel. Well, how difficult is all this kind of all this stuff, and what sign does it leave in you and on the people that you met?
See, I have to say this is the most difficult part of my job.
Yeah.
To arrive to a new orchestra, and I always get very nervous when it's an orchestra that I don't know. So the first 10-15 minutes of rehearsal, it's like we are testing each other. The orchestra is testing me and testing the orchestra. And I think after 15-20 minutes, you will know if the week will be good or not. It's a thing of feeling, but it's this moment before the rehearsal are really difficult, and but I think it's more psychological than physical. So I try to be very concentrated, and even if I'm really nervous, I try to be the most focused possible. And of course, every day after every rehearsal, you know, musicians, you talk with musicians, and this is one of the most beautiful parts of my job, is to meet musicians and to learn from those musicians, because I think doesn't matter the level of the musician, you can always learn something from each musician.
Yeah, yes. Well, but talking about MACH Academy, so this young musician that you are still work with, and I mean during these those lockdown weeks that we passed in all the world, but at least in Italy, the government and political parties have devoted really practically no attention to aspect of the cultural world. I mean, music at all. And this is a very serious problem, I think. What message do you want to send to these young musicians who attend the MACH Academy? Will they be the musical heroes of the future?
Yeah, first of all, to be patient during this period, because it's difficult for everyone. I think if we don't change the mentality during this lockdown, we will have some problems. I think I'm talking about the whole world. I think we had the time to reflection, for think a lot. To actually, last night I was talking with one of the musicians that to know what is really, really important in life. And as you say, I think one of the most important things in life is art, is culture. And that's what we are doing with MACH Academy. As I said before, we have students and we have teachers, but I think we are learning all. The students and the teacher is like exchange, communication, and learning a lot, and that's one of the most beautiful things that I love from MACH. That everything is so simple, but at the same time means so much, and that's what I really, really love from MACH.
Okay, and well, it was one of my questions. What are you teaching to these young musicians, and what are you learning from these young musicians? But which is the distinctive point of the MACH Academy that you can't find in other situations?
I think what I just said to you, I think this simplicity
and
of everything there, and then become so beautiful, and you can feel that in the music, in the little concerts that they make of chamber music. And for me, this is the most beautiful part of MACH, is simplicity. If somebody asked me what means MACH for you, is simplicity.
Well, we are talking about young musicians, two young musicians, so maybe in the next minutes sometimes may ask you something to you. And
yeah.
Well, return to your experience as a young musician and a child. When did the music call arrive to you? What is all so clear? You had no doubt, no? You say it was really clear. Well, how can we help young musician to understand which is the right way?
I think the right way for everyone is different. In my case, I got a very special moment in my life. When I was 19 years old, I went to Paris to make the audition in the Conservatoire Superior there, and I didn't get the place in the Conservatory. Then I come back to Venezuela. So I went to a meeting with Maestro Abreu, and he asked me, what do you want to do? now here in Venezuela, and I say, I want to do chamber music, I want to play in the orchestra, maybe soloist. And he asked me immediately, will you like to conduct? And I say, yes, but I never try. And I remember he said, okay, come tomorrow and I will give you your first lesson. And I think from that moment, my musical life changed immediately.
Okay, but did you mind if you left something behind you in that moment? Your work were entering in a new world, but was the old world that you left behind?
I was very lucky because then I keep the old world with the new world together for some time, and was very gradual, this chain. At some point, the conducting was going very well. So I decided to go in this direction, and then Maestro Abado arrived in my life, and that was another very important moment during my musical life that changed everything as well. So I decided to keep going with the conducting, but this move from the old to the new was very gradual, was not radical, so it was very natural for me.
Okay. And we talk about Tenacity is the main title of your of this webinar. Well, Tenacity is really one of your great gifts, I think. But which are the other gifts that you carry with you in this long journey, which are treasure, even meeting with some maestros, important people? What do you think that it's your key of your success and your?
You know, at the beginning of my career, I was thinking maybe the talent was the main thing. Then I realized that you cannot only live of talent. So then the studying is, I think, is the key of the success. And I have to say, the career of conductor is very, very difficult, especially for a young conductor, because sometimes the orchestras can be really tough with young conductors. So that's when you have to keep the tenacity, in your mind, in your body, and keep every day going and going and fighting for what do you want. Is for nothing really. It's not easy. It's a very, very difficult career, and sometimes you think like, oh, I cannot do it anymore. And then the other angel arrives here and says, you can do it, you can do it. So you keep every day, because every week that we are conducting different orchestras, it's like to make an audition for an orchestra every week in front of 60, 70 musicians. So it's psychologically, it's a very demanding thing. I think I talked about this with Francesca a lot. I think a conductor has to be 50% conductor, 50% psychology, because it's a very important part of.
Yeah, I think so. I think
work
so.
with orchestras.
Yes, and when you look back to your beginning, the beginning of your career, and the beginning of you were a child and you became a man, what do you see now from the difference you see now from the child that start with Maestro Abreu, with El Sistema?
You know, I think I'm keeping a lot of this child and on me still, and I feel this is something very good for me to keep this child with me all the time. Honestly, I don't remember so much when I was a little child. I remember when I start with music. From there, I remember. So music, I can associate some moment with some music. So that's music has been always a big, I think the most important part of my life. Now it's my family, but before was music, but still music now.
Yes, I think about your family, your friends. So Francesco, it's your friend. You start this experience of MACH Academy because you were colleagues and friends, and so all the things put together, a man and a great artist. Let me tell you, this all contributes to the growth of an hero in some way. I think the family it's another important aspect of your life.
I think it's the most important aspect. And from when I had my first children, life changed completely in a wonderful way. And also the way to make music changed a lot. And I'm very lucky to have such a wonderful friends. I remember with Francesco, we were sitting one night in his house, having a coffee or a beer, I don't remember, probably a beer. And I said to him, wait, let's do an orchestra here. And he say, it's difficult, but let's try. So then his tenacity, and I think we all collaborate to create this project from nothing to something very special, very beautiful. And so fighting and fighting and fighting, we got the opportunity to do the MACH orchestra.
Yes, and in such a wonderful place, it's all came to so easy. Now we are all in a web conference, but to be in such a place will help to grow all the artistic inputs. So, well, and what about the repertoire? Well, what in your musical journey, how does it change your approach to the repertoire? Have you grow some attitude to some periods, to some composer? It's a sort of gradual growing and developed, or is it a very matter of study and going deep with the scores?
I think it's a combination of both things. In my case, I have to say, in El Sistema, we play a lot of Russian music because Maestro Abreu was a lover of Tchaikovsky, Shostakovich. So we growing up with this school. And I have to say, in my conductor career, is all this part from El Sistema had a big influence on me. Then, of course, getting deeper and with the help and guidance of Maestro Abado, he was very, very generous with me, and I always asked him about repertoire and things. And so I learned a lot from him about repertoire. And then when you arrive to a certain level, you know.
No, non sto spilando.
Daniele. Cosa stavo dicendo? Repertorio.
Sì.
On a certain level, you know what you can do, what do you have to wait to do it later, what pieces you can start studying now to do in maybe 5, 7 years, 10 years. So that's the way I'm thinking now, and I have to say I'm been very lucky with the people around me working, and because I had amazing people working with me all the time, and I learned a lot from them as well.
Well, you're a great conductor, but you're still a young artist. So talking about this young musician of the MACH Academy, how much important is to put a goal, a target in a lifetime or in a career?
You know, for me, it's not the main thing to think in 10 years I have to be there, because you never know what can happen. How can you change your way of thinking, your way of making music? I think the most important thing is tenacity, the love for what you are doing every day. Keep going, keep going. And I think thinking in a short period, no, and step by step, step, then you can see the big line inside this little. It's like music. Music is a big phrase, but inside this big phrase, you have little phrases that make growing everything. So this is very important to keep the tenacity every day. If you really love music, if you really love art and music, I think this is very, very important.
It's interesting, this, but about music, about a score, from where did it start, your approach to a score? From history, music history, from life of the composer, or from note to note, bar to bar? Which is your approach?
Yeah, the pen of the piece. I'm studying, for example, if I have to do an opera, the first thing I do is to get the libretto and studying, and then when you have the libretto, let's say, clear in your mind, you can start to approach to each character of the opera, to the music with the score, and analyzing everything. But if I have to do let's say a Mahler symphony that I never conducted before, for example, Mahler 7, I never conducted in my life, studying, of course, the history, and a very curious one. I like to listen to many recordings and compare tempos and colors, and if I can see the videos, it's even better, because I love to see these great conductors who have been a great inspiration for all of us. But so depends of each piece.
Okay. Well, I think we have a few minutes because you had
unfortunately in 2 minutes I have to go. I have
but I would like to let, if somebody wants to make some question to Diego, something that had you in your mind, or something that who would talk if we're in presence. during the academy. I don't know technically how does it work, this. Francesco, non so come funzioni
I
in
think,
questo caso.
yes, who wants to ask something can or raise the hand or unmute himself or herself and just.
Or maybe in the chat, I think also.
Ah, or in the chat.
We don't have anything in the chat.
But in the meanwhile, I would like to one more question, just because you talk about your job of conductor, and you talk about your relationship with the musicians, the orchestra, and which kind of contact do you establish with your listener, with the audience?
Depend of the audience,
Yeah.
of course. For example, I have a beautiful contact with the audience in Italy because my career started in Italy and I do a lot of things in Italy, and it's an audience that I really love. They are very critical and they know about music, so you have to be always very good prepared for them, and they are, when they like something, they can be very generous with you. For example, in China it's completely different. They don't know so much about music, but they love. They are very energetic. So what it's also beautiful because they are just expressing what they feel, not what they know, because they don't really know about music. And sometimes I miss a bit of that because sometimes you go to a concert and you know exactly what is happening in the concert, and sometimes you don't really enjoy very much. So this innocence of don't know is it's very beautiful, I think. And but every audience is completely different. But,
I mean, yes.
My dear friends, I'm so sad. I have to go. I have rehearsal now.
Yes, but I have one question for you, Diego. I don't want to let you go. I have one question. Which is for you in the hero's journey? There is this aspect of find the different archetypes and figures on your path, and there is this one of allies. Like friends that you meet on your way, which are helping you making your journey. How is for you to make music, or make music and create something together with friends, or the difference between this and play with conduct with a wonderful orchestra, professional orchestra, and with a lot of quality? What is giving the friendship, I mean the deep friendship to the music? Because we think about that, and I think it's very important for everybody to think about that.
I think a lot, because it's so beautiful when you can do music with your friends, and that's why I enjoy very much to be in MACH in the past years, because it's this simplicity to be with your musical family, with friends. It's really, really, really special.
Diego, we have some problems, I think. So It really has to go, I think. Okay.
The hero is disappear.
Okay, let's see if he's coming back or not. Otherwise, I think we can finish here. Let's wait just a few seconds. Okay. Let me check just a second. Okay, I think, yes, I think he's gone. There is no connection also on WhatsApp. So thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
It has been really a pleasure to also to listen from your point of view. What is this kind of inner reflection of what we are doing, and from a point of view of a music lover. And so it has been enriching very much our meeting. Yeah. And we will be together with you on Saturday with Julian Racklin.
I'll be there.
So thank you, everybody. We meet on Saturday at 6 o'clock, like the regular time for the meetings. And yeah, we wish you nice days. And really, if you, I think would be nice, I mean, you are not forced to do it, but we have the possibility to, since we are talking with somebody and which is yeah, giving us the possibility to ask something also. I mean, we did in the last meeting, Fermin did, Montserrat on Saturday, and who else was on Niam also, and so maybe somebody else. And yeah, we just have to feel free to, if we have something to ask, of course. Yeah. But thank you very much, and see you very soon. Have a nice day.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Bye.
Bye.